Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase, the Second Doctors. So today here we have of course a custom TARDIS set. First things first, I have to say I apologise for any background noise. The house across the street is having some work done. That is obviously beyond my control. Secondly, this is obviously made, as you will have noticed, from one of the exclusive character options sets of the Second Doctor with his fur coat from the Abominable Snowman. Now, two things I need to make very clear. Firstly, this is a custom set. This is not a future or has any bearing on any future character options exclusive or TARDIS sets. I have made this purely for my own purposes. Secondly, this is not my advanced copy that I have made this from. I do not make customs from my advanced copies. I specifically bought another set, not for this reason, but a reason I will go into to explain why I have another one of these sets. Essentially, as many of you will know, or some of you will know, at the start of this Second Doctor's custom series, I said that there was, I said at some point that there was one custom which I have had to not make for reasons that I couldn't go into at the time. That was, of course, a Second Doctor in his fur coat. The reason I could not go into it at the time is because I was aware that the figure was coming, but obviously I was not allowed to talk about it. So that eventually ended up I decided that I wasn't going to do the Second Doctor in the fur coat, because what was the point of putting in all that work when we were going to get a figure? However, when we got the figure and I got my copy and I reviewed it, I was very, very impressed with the figure, and I originally planned to do a a 5 Doctors variant, and after lots of thought I decided that, obviously as I said, I wanted to keep my advanced copy as it was. I decided that I would buy another set so I could make a 5 Doctors, Second Doctor in his fur coat. So that is coming in future. I have already actually posted it on some of my social media. You may have seen it on there. But it is one that I am going to be doing a video on. But it's, yeah, I was very pleased with the finished custom, but obviously that meant I was left over with an empty box and a spare TARDIS. And I originally did consider selling the TARDIS in the box without the figure, but the thing is, the more I thought about it, the more I really liked, I liked having the TARDIS variant, and I thought, well, I've paid out for this, I'm not going to be able to recoup the money that I've paid out for it, because it's a £40 set. It wouldn't have the figure, which means I'd only get the £20 for it. Obviously then there's the postage of it, so I sort of started to think, well, what could I do with the TARDIS to do a custom version from other episodes around that era with the flipped over sign. And then I thought, well, it would be nice to do a custom TARDIS set. Unfortunately, I had no idea what I would do for a Doctor figure, because the Second Doctor surprisingly doesn't have that many costume variants. So I thought about doing a version from Enemy of the World, and I could put my Salamander figure in there. But then I had a look over the episodes, and I was looking and I was re-watching Fury from the Deep actually, and I was sorting through my parts bins, and I actually found a spare Androgum Second Doctor that I had. Which I had originally bought for this series, and I planned to do a proper Androgum Second Doctor with the top hat, but it felt like a bit of a cop-out, so I never made it in the end. But then I sort of thought, well, I've got enough spare parts, and I've got this TARDIS, and I've got this box. A Fury from the Deep version would actually be quite nice, because I know a lot of people do like, the Fury from the Deep Second Doctor, his look with the life jacket and the hat and everything. So I decided that I would make a Fury from the Deep set, which is obviously as you see here. But obviously that meant then making some changes to the TARDIS, making up a new figure, some additional parts, and then also making some changes to the interior of the box. So let's get this open and have a look at what I've done. So here's a better look at the backdrop insert I created. It was a very quick Photoshop job, so it is not perfect, and there are some join lines where I've had to print it in certain sections to put it on the box, but overall you've got the gas refinery at the top here, you've got the helicopter as is seen in the episode, Down here you've got the pipe with a few weeds on it, and then just under here you do have the control box from the start of the episode, and then also some sea foam around the edges. The base part, I tried to do it so the Doctor would be stood in the sand and the TARDIS would be in the water. TARDIS in the water I got, unfortunately my positioning wasn't very good, and so the Doctor is sort of stood in the surf as it were, but it still looks the part. I think it does look very good. I'm very pleased with how it came out. I did try to put some sort of weed tentacle things on there, but it was very difficult to find something that suited, because seaweed didn't look quite the part. I tried to take some stills from the animated version, but they just looked too animated, so yeah, unfortunately it didn't work as well as I'd hoped, but I'm still pleased with what I've got. You know, it still looks like the sort of, you know, resembles the opening scene from the episode, and I think it does look the part. But now let's get on to having a look at the figures themselves. So first up here we have the TARDIS. So overall the TARDIS itself is relatively unchanged in terms of its shape. I haven't made any modifications to you know, the base or any parts of it. The only things that I have done, as you can see, is obviously paint the lower part a sort of green colour to give it that kind of sort of algae kind of watery sort of substance colour, and then I've also given it a coat of PVA glue. It's very difficult to capture on camera, but in certain lights the reason for the PVA glue is it gives it a much more varnished look and makes it look kind of wet, which I think looked very good. Obviously then as well you can see on the signs on the roof I have also changed. I've got the two blue ones on the side and then the black and white inverted ones on the front, and that's pretty much all I've done for the TARDIS. It still functions electronically, you know, the doors still open, everything like that. It was just a very, very simple change to do, but I think it works very well, and it does make the TARDIS look a little bit more different and unique, you know, in that sort of Caves of Androzani way, but that we got all of the dirt on the bottom of that one. It does just sort of make it stand out and make it look a little bit different. And you know, I know that a lot of people were a bit umming and ahhing about the sign being on the different side, but I quite like it. You know, I like that sort of TARDIS variant. You know, I'm glad not all of them are like that. You know, but it does make a nice little sort of difference to have on display in a box. And lastly, here we have the Doctor figure. So overall, it is an Androgum second Doctor, but obviously I've replaced the head with a spare War Games one that I had lying around, and then obviously sculpted on the hat as well. The boots, I have used the same technique I did on my second Doctor War Games custom second Doctor, in that I've used some boots from a Tomb Cyberman. Then I've used the trick of putting some screws into the legs to put them in. I have done a how to do video on that if you're not sure what I mean, to replace those and make those different. And then obviously the biggest noticeable difference is the life vest, which I have made from Milliput and a bit of cardboard. It has sort of set in a specific position, as it were, which does make it look like it stands out a little bit more, but obviously I had to keep it rigid, and it is not 100% accurate, i.e. the head hole at the top is a little bit more wider, but there is a very good reason for that, because I wanted to make it removable, and because it's removable I have managed to cast both of these pieces up. So I've got a head cast here, complete with peg actually for once. I'm very pleased that managed to come out. And then obviously we've got a casting of the life vest. So both of these will be available on my eBay, either very shortly or as you watch this video, for anyone who wants to get those. So it is a great way to make up this custom, a very nice simple one to do. So please go and check that out. And it's the boots you will have to provide yourself. I'm sorry, I can't cast that bit up. I can't do the leg casts. But the head and the life vest will be available on my eBay. So please go and check that out. So that brings to a close another custom figure showcase, the second Doctors. One thing that I did forget to mention at the start of this video, which I will just mention now, in terms of this box. I have not really changed anything to the outside exterior of the box. It's still got the standard back to it, but the one thing I have done is obviously change the Abominable Snowman to Fury from the Deep. Unfortunately, it is very hard to colour match that particular blue, so it is noticeable that it has been stuck over the top, but from a distance I don't think you notice, and you know, I'm still very pleased with it, how it's come out. But as I said, that does bring to a close another custom figure showcase, the Second Doctors. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.